welcome to Deeply Curious. My name is Cody Jensen, and joining me live recording in New York City is my wife, Sarah.
Hello.
This podcast is all about us, a married couple, talking about the things that we are curious about this week. Things tend to get deep.
Yeah,
So
sometimes.
buckle up, get ready. Deeply Curious this week is brought to you by Brevity Backpacks. Brevity Backpacks are single everyday camera backpacks. So if you want to carry all your gears, all your camera gears and your life gears every day, check out Brevity Backpacks. Is what I carry. The new ones are weather sealed and with weather taped zippers, which not only they look nice, but they're also practical because water can't get in there. Yeah. But what I love about Brevity is, one, they're black, which I mean is a must for me. They look great. They do not look like a camera backpack. They easily fit and protect a camera, a lens, a drone all at the same time, but still leave you room for a laptop and your jacket and a water bottle. And you can strap a tripod to either side. And like I said, they just look great. Yeah. So if you want to check out what these Brevity bags look like, you can go over to brevity.deeplycurious.fm to check them out. It's BREVITE. Yes, Sarah can spell, I can't. Brevity.deeplycurious.fm. I would highly recommend if you're looking for an everyday bag that you can also carry your camera in. Check it out.
Highly recommend, yeah.
So for this episode, we're going to dive into the mind of Sarah.
Well, not really.
I mean, that's basically what we do every week. So what are you curious about this week, my love?
Well, I was just thinking, because this week is still October.
Ooh, spooky.
As far as, I guess, as we're recording, it is still October. Yeah. And
you could be listening and it's like the year 2040.
Who knows,
it's
really.
January.
But John Legend just put out his new Christmas album.
If you don't know who John Legend is, it's Chrissy Teigen's husband.
Yeah. And I listened to it the day it came out in October.
I have not, because I refuse for Christmas to come any earlier than Thanksgiving.
Yes, which is my point that I'm getting to. So
Are you about to shame me?
No.
Okay.
I
think she might.
I'm not. Let me get my sentence out. I am typically a person who refuses to listen to Christmas music until after Thanksgiving, because it goes Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And I really don't like that people just skip over Thanksgiving.
Subverted Thanksgiving for Christmas.
Yes, I really think that we should appreciate Thanksgiving for what it is, and not just ignore it.
Thanksgiving, we should do that too.
Yeah, so I'm usually pretty...
You usually are pretty, but there are some times in the morning that I'm like, you're cute.
No. I was going to say I'm pretty against Christmas music until after Thanksgiving. But the other day, I listened to John Legend's new Christmas album, and it's fantastic, by the way. I think his voice was made for Christmas. And it got me thinking about, like, why am I so enthusiastic about this, right? And I just thought, like, we should just do things that make us happy, and like, who cares about anything else? Like, and it's not even just like outside opinions, although that is a thing.
Soapbox.
Yeah, that is something that we should, it doesn't matter what other people think, just do what makes you happy. But this is more of like a personal, like, why are we denying ourselves happiness because of some, stupid rules that we have that we don't even realize that we have, that are making us less happy? Like, it's sort of, obviously Christmas music is like a fun little, like, not important one, but they call them like limiting beliefs, like just like these weird beliefs and rules and things that you have, that you apply to your life, that just like keep you down, So I was thinking about this because, like, everything else in the world sucks right now. So, like, why are we just denying ourselves happiness where we can get it? Who cares if it's like bubblegum pop music? Just listen to it because it makes you happy, Or who cares if it's still October? Listen to Christmas music because it makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I completely agree. listening to Christmas music before Thanksgiving doesn't make me happy. So
No,
I don't.
yeah, that's fine.
But I know that's not what you're talking about.
Right.
Just want to throw that out there. And if you do listen to Christmas music before and it makes you happy, by all means do it.
Right.
But don't listen to it on anything other than headphones, because you don't need to subject the rest of the world to your crappy choices.
Happy choices.
That's what I said. Crappy choices.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just something I've been thinking about. Like, why don't we, you want to stay home on Friday, so just stay home.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically just a different variant of the same thing that I talk about all the time. I mean, because it is limiting your beliefs. It's limiting what you think is possible based on what society and or other people, which society is other people. What you should and shouldn't do at certain times or at all. It's like the whole conversation that we had with John about skateboarding, and like, if you enjoy skateboarding, why the flippity flop do you care if people think that you're a child for doing it?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah, I guess though, the way I'm looking at it is not other people. It's yourself. Like and maybe it's because like I personally have really high standards for myself, and like I'm pretty hard on myself, and so like I put these rules in place because I think something, and like I don't know why I do that.
But my question would be, why do you think that?
Why do I think anything? Yeah,
I mean, it's like, why do you think you shouldn't listen to Christmas music? Is it like...
Yeah, well, it's not because it's because of like my own standards. It's not because of the world. I mean, there are certain things I do because the world expects it, right? I know that, but like, and maybe it's just like a subconscious thing that like the world has, or maybe somebody in your life at some point, like your parent told you would never be an artist, so now you believe, or that you're never going to make money as an artist, so now you believe you're not going to make money, right? Like, I do think like you can be influenced in that way subconsciously, and like you don't even realize it anymore, but they're like limiting beliefs that you put on yourself that like, why? And it's just me. It's me putting these rules and standards and whatever, but that like actually hold you back.
Yeah, I mean, my question would be the same. Why?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, maybe you could help me find an example, but, I mean, for myself, I don't feel like I limit myself on anything. Like...
Well, okay, so I guess it depends on how you look at it. There are different, I guess, examples you could use, but... For an example, I refused for the longest time to read Twilight because I thought it was beneath me, right? Like, and I mean, I read them eventually, and I think they're fine. Like, I'm not in love with them by any means. But like, I don't know why I refused to like give them a chance, I
mean, I do.
Well, okay. I know that they're not great.
No, you refused to give them a chance because they were so popular. And yeah,
I definitely go against what's the most popular.
I think naturally you go against what is most popular. And there was a good, like, I don't know, couple years of your life that was like I don't know, you went through a phase of being ultra hipster mentality.
It's not...
It is. I'm not saying you were a hipster, but I'm saying it's the hipster mentality of you go against the mainstream because it is mainstream. If it was, if it was the most popular,
I want to be unique. That's
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
But if we're talking like maybe a little,
I want to be uniquely the same as everybody else.
No, that terrifies me. I want to be not like anybody else,
but not too different.
But not too different.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You want to be unique, just like everybody else.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But if we're talking like a more serious example, I don't know that I have one in particular, but like I have been thinking about this too, like, which I guess is sort of in the same realm. If something is achievable, if like I have a goal or something I want to accomplish, I guess, and like I work toward it and I can see myself like I'm getting there, I can see that I'm about to accomplish it, I sort of self-sabotage it. Like I'm like, ugh, whatever, I don't need that, I don't want it. Like there's this like idea that like if it's accessible to me, it's not worth having, you know? And it's like the I think it's probably the chase. I like the longing for something versus actually having the thing.
Is that why you loved me more when we were dating?
Probably, yeah. But like, I don't know. I was just thinking about it because I was listening to Christmas music and absolutely enjoying myself and like wondering why I don't let myself do that more often. And it's not because society tells me Christmas music is bad until after Thanksgiving. That's a thing I made up on my own. I have plenty of friends who listen to Christmas music all year round. And like, it's just a thing that I put on myself. And I don't know why.
Well, I don't have an answer for you.
No, it's just what I've been thinking about, you know? Maybe I just like, I just wanted to, I don't know. I feel like we do that. I think, and maybe most of the time it's because of societal pressures. I think. I
mean, I have a hard time thinking of anything that is not because of societal pressures.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that it's not because society has told me Christmas music is bad until after Thanksgiving.
Well, but what shaped that belief in you?
I don't know.
Somebody or something. Like it's not like if you were in a vacuum, you would have just decided, I can't listen to Christmas music until after the last week of November. Like you would have never had that thought if you were, you know, without outside influence. But because of outside influence, you came to believe that listening to Christmas music before that time is not bad. It's just like
stupid.
You wanted to protect the sacredity of Thanksgiving, basically.
Right. Like, but I don't think. Again, maybe it's all subconscious, and that's why, you know, you can't recognize it. But I don't think anybody told me achieving the thing you want to achieve sucks. You should self-sabotage.
I think those are two way different conversations, though.
Well, like, but I think that it has the same. The reason I use those is because there's the same idea behind it. Is like I'm limiting myself from being happy for some reason.
I mean, I guess jump into some therapy. Like, do you believe you deserve happiness?
Well, I mean, no, but like.
Then why?
That's what I mean, though. It's like why are we all walking around and like doing these things because we think we don't deserve anything better?
Well, I guess to answer that question on the macro, why don't we answer the question or attempt to answer the question on the micro and say, why do you think that you don't deserve happiness?
I don't know. I have no idea. But it's like, the example I used of, you know, maybe your dad said artists never make money, so now you grow up believing you're never going to make money. That's an example that was used in the book You Are a Badass. And that's like her whole thing is about limiting beliefs and like what you believe about yourself, whether consciously or subconsciously, and how that affects everything, you know? So like nobody would consciously say like, oh yeah, I don't believe that I deserve to make money. Mm-hmm. Right? Like nobody's going to say that, but sometimes there are these things that you place on yourself mm-hmm. to like hold you back.
Yeah. Like your I guess potential, the capabilities of mm-hmm. you as a person are not limited. It is your own mindset that is limiting you. Right. Which is essentially goes to some smart person who wrote a book about the growth mindset.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. J. Meg J.
Dr. J.
I'm not 100% sure. Yes, I know
but
who you're talking
the growth mindset. And just there's this whole belief mm-hmm. thing about the growth mindset and how there are two types of people in this world. There's the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And you can change your mindset with work, but there are certain people that are, I guess, maybe naturally just, fixed and certain people that are naturally open. Right. But if you, I guess, success and whether you believe that you can change, whether you believe that you can evolve and go from being I don't know, maybe you thought that you love kids and so you really wanted to be an elementary school teacher and you went through everything you could and now you are an elementary school teacher and you actually don't find it that fulfilling. But there is this thing, like if you have the fixed mindset, you don't believe that you could be the, I don't know, actor that that you used to want to be as a kid, and like you still like have this maybe like a deep down desire that like that would be something that you'd want, but because you're a fixed mindset, you don't think there's any possibility that you could become that. But if you change to a growth mindset and that all things are able to be achieved through something or other, that can happen. Anyways, just getting out, that's kind of the same thing. It would just like growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and that progress, you can change. Like you're not given everything, all the knowledge that you need, and then you can never learn anymore. It's like the old dogs can learn new tricks type thing. It's like, so can you. Like any person at any point can learn how to do essentially anything, barring that thing is physically, you are physically in your capabilities. But anyways, you know what I'm saying.
I mean, that's true. I just think, I don't know, I've just recognized, I guess, more recently, and it's probably because like everything else, like, I mean, we're not kidding ourselves, like America kind of sucks right now. We're in like this really weird, divided, awful time, right? And like everything is, if you think about it too much, it's really sad, and like I was just thinking, like, why am I not allowing myself to be happy? Like, who cares if it's not Thanksgiving yet? Like, just listen to Christmas music because it makes you happy. And like, there's not a lot of things that are super happy right now. And like, I know that's a dumb example, but I don't know. And like, society, again, maybe it's more subconscious than you think it is, or than I think it is, but like society says like, oh, you should go out on Friday nights and, drink and hang out with friends and whatever. But like, you really love staying at home and watching a movie. So just stay home and watch a movie. Like, I don't know why we're putting even more pressure on ourselves and not allowing ourselves to just be happy. If what makes you happy is going out on a Friday night, go out on a Friday night. That's fine. But like, I just think, I don't know. I've just been thinking about it a lot because I don't know why I'm not allowing myself to be happy in the tiniest of things that make no difference. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just that, like, why are we being critical of things that actually don't matter?
Yeah. Like I said, I have a hard time coming up with an answer or even like an example because I'm very different than that.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I feel like I don't have limiting beliefs, either that or I don't recognize them. Like I fully believe I deserve happiness and that I'm capable of whatever I want. And then I also strongly do not care what anybody else thinks of what I find to make me happy.
Yeah.
So how to find that? Don't know.
I don't think it's necessarily a how to. I think mostly it's just like something I've been thinking about, like, why am I even doing this? Like, why does this even matter?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you want to enjoy a PSL in June and live that pumpkin spice life.
Yeah. That's exactly it, though. It's like, there's this guy on Twitter that he's gotten more popular the last couple of months, but
John Legend?
Maybe. Yeah. No, it's, I think his Twitter name is like Mr. Robert or something. It's not like a Mr. Rogers neighborhood, but it's like, it reminds me of Mr. Rogers. So it's something like that. Anyways, he posted something like that. He was like, can we allow people just to like enjoy what they like. Who cares if they enjoy pumpkin spice lattes and avocado toast? Like, let them enjoy pumpkin spice and avocado toast. It makes no difference to you, and it makes them happy. Like, can we allow people their small joy, I think is what he said, or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so if we're getting into that conversation, I was avoiding that, at least right now, because I feel like that's different than what you're talking about. Because again, that goes back to caring what other people think about you.
Right.
Because, you know, you're saying that you're limiting your own beliefs, you're being hard on yourself.
I am, yes.
You know, versus like in that context, the letting people enjoy things is, I mean, a huge topic, and something that I guess it's just like the social internet has brought upon us. I mean, I'm sure it's happened forever, but now we're, what would you say? Like, we're exposed to so many different people, styles, preferences that are so different than ours versus whenever you are only existing within your own basically circle, you're not exposed to as much. And so now people get visceral responses to people enjoying avocado toast type stuff. Like, it's like, what does it matter? And if we're getting that conversation, I 100% want to bust some kneecaps on people who just don't let other people enjoy things.
Yeah. There's actually this meme about that. It's my favorite. I don't know if it's a meme, maybe more of a GIF. Anyway, a long time ago. And it's this girl doing this little like jig. And she's like, you don't have to like something, but don't be a jerk about it. You know, I think of that every single time because it's true. Like, you don't have to like what other people are doing, but like, it's not your place to be rude to them. Like, just let them be. Just as they're gonna let you be, you know.
I mean, I think, you know, this example, we're talking about the little things here. And, you know, and we can keep on that train of just people tend to have such strong emotional responses.
It's wild.
To the smallest things that other people enjoy that have zero effect on their life.
It's wild.
And in talking about the small things, like, you know, if somebody, I mean, I keep thinking about the same stuff, but just like likes pumpkin spice lattes, or, you know, whatever.
Well, it's like calling a girl basic because she drinks pumpkin spice. Like, what does that even mean, honestly? And like, why is that an insult?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like exactly like that.
Who doesn't like pumpkin flavored things?
Well, I'm sure there are people that don't like pumpkin spice things.
Well, okay, to be honest, I don't like pumpkin flavored things, but I don't like pumpkin. But I'm just saying that the general idea is that it's a delicious treat. Why is that basic? And why is basic an insult?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, there are all types of subcultures of people that find other things that other subcultures of people do, and, you know, want to belittle, make fun of, you know, whatever, because it's different than what they believe. And I understand that. I mean, it's so easy to do. Like, it's
taste and having an elevated taste. And
and I also want to separate comedy from literally like not letting other people enjoy things. Yeah, you know, because
it's different.
You know, I think there are very fun. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, comedy is a completely different subject. Yeah,
more so. Like, if somebody enjoys skateboarding, what does it matter to you? If somebody enjoys making paper dolls and they're 35 years old, like, what does it matter to you?
Right.
And that just gets into our entire culture of, if somebody likes doing something, if somebody believes in something, if somebody does something that has zero effect on how you live your life and how you see yourself, why do you care so much?
Yeah.
Why do you subvert your opinions on that person that has no like weight
Right.
on how you live your life.
Right.
And that goes into so much more than a freaking pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah.
Because if there are so many social political things that, you know, everybody is either against or for or whatever. And it's, you know, at the end of the day, does it affect you or not?
Right.
And the majority of those are no.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
So just go home.
Yeah. And like, you know, we were talking about like having taste and an elevated taste, and, you know, obviously like usually the majority doesn't have taste, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, I can understand depending on the subject, obviously. Like I can understand kind of being irritated that people are into this thing that like doesn't look good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that justifies being a jerk about it, though. I think that's the difference. It's like you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to. You can even educate them if you want on like why this thing is better than the thing that they currently like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like that's completely different than being mean.
Right.
You know? Like, I don't know.
And I think that I thought of another example that is a story that I do not remember where it's from. That kind of goes along with this in that a kid was, he saw a painting or something. He saw a piece of art. And then his mom asked him, you know, what did you think about that? And the kid responded with, I don't like it, but it's beautiful.
It was a ballet. He watched a ballet, and then he said it's beautiful, but I don't like it. Yeah.
And that is, again, just is another like example of it's a little stretch, because I know it's art. Like you can think something that is, you can think something's beautiful and still not like it.
Right.
But it's like you can not like things and let other people think that it's beautiful.
Right.
And
we're all on a spectrum, right? We're all on a journey to finding
some people
taste.
are on Comcast, some people are on Spectrum, some people are on AT&T.
I think I really love that story because I think it explains itself. Like you can understand that something has value without being into it.
Yeah, but I think now I'm going back on what I just said, because you know, that example, you know, it says, I see this thing has value even though I don't like it. And I think a lot of times the conversation that we're having about people letting other people enjoy things is because they don't think that thing has value.
Right.
You know, it's like,
that's true.
Why are you enjoying that because that thing has no value?
Right.
You know,
to you.
Right. And that's the thing.
Let's add that at the end of every sentence.
Yes. And honestly, that's a huge thing too. It's like in language, in, you know, people, whenever they're commenting online or they're saying things out loud, we typically forget to add to the beginning or to the end of to me or my opinion or, you know, and I'm not saying that every single thing you ever say needs to have, you know, that in front of it. Yeah. But, you know, if, you know, people go on and I'll just use like a really good example of Android and iPhone.
Yeah.
And Android people will go on iPhone videos and they will be like, iPhone sucks, period. And it's like, no, the actual correct thing is the iPhone sucks to me.
Right.
For me, because of my needs, preferences, and ideals of what a phone should be.
Right.
It doesn't make for the trolling comment that you want, but ultimately that is what you were saying, because there is no, you know, iPhone sucks or Android sucks. They both have they're both great. Right. You can't, like, you're arguing over, this is getting into, you know, the specifics of Android versus iPhone, but I mean, you're literally arguing over the 95%. It's like you have the two best phones that work for, that either one of them could work for anybody, and you're saying that one of them is terrible. It's like, no, you're saying that you prefer the other one.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But this is the thing. This is the conversation we're getting into. If you prefer Android phones, why do you care so much that other people prefer iPhone?
Yeah.
Them choosing to like iPhone better is not saying that your choice is wrong. They're saying this is the right choice for me. Other people's choices are not a reflection of your choice. Other people's choices are a reflection of who they are, not a reflection of who you are.
Right.
So I think that that's a lot of times what happens is people will look and say, that person chooses to do, say, or act upon that thing, which is different than me. So they in turn are saying that I am wrong. Whenever in reality, that isn't the case at all. You're just being narcissistic and making everything about yourself.
Right.
Most people's choices have nothing to do with you.
Right. But we can't understand that really. Like, we're so inside our own heads that we don't understand that their decision isn't a commentary on our life. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's true. Like, that's what's happening, you know, even if you take that into like, I don't want to get into bigger issues, but you take that into bigger issues. And that's the whole problem. Like, is that we feel like you saying something that is different than my belief is you saying that my belief is wrong and that you don't approve of me.
Right.
You know, which isn't true.
Right.
Like, or
there are
it shouldn't be. Like,
very few things that are a literal black and white, right, wrong.
Right.
There is, this is my preference because there are thousands of options, and this is my personal preference because this is the thing that brings me the most enjoyment, or this is the thing that I feel is the best choice for me and my family,
even
whatever. Or even if it is a big grander scale and you say, this is my preference of the way I think that the world would be better, the way that I think politics should be, but at the end of the day, still you're saying this is how I view the world. It's not saying that the way that you view the world is wrong.
I immediately thought of
it's just different.
A lot of, if you can't tell, this is Cody's tangent. I immediately thought of our apartment tour video and how many people we have had comment about how wrong our choice is to live in 300 square feet, you know? And like, it's just funny because literally you live in the middle of America and will never meet me and will never live in a 300 square foot apartment in New York City, and it's totally fine. But for some reason, there's this need to let people who live in massive city, overcrowded cities in no space, you have to let us know how wrong we are. And like, and I don't really get that, because I think it's okay. This is, you know, I don't know if this is whatever. Anyway, I think it's crazy to live in a massive house when there's only one or two of you living there and like having all of these things and all of this space for no reason. I think that's wild. But like, I don't care if you do it. You know what I mean?
It's like you're not going and leaving YouTube comments
I'm
on
not,
$1 million home tours and be like, y'all are idiots.
Right. Like, because you want space. I get that, you know, like that's fine. I think it's crazy because I would hate to clean all of it, but some people want space and like, I'm not mad about it, you know? So like, I just think it's crazy that we get so caught up in anger. And I think that like, obviously our culture is like, you know, primed for that right now. Like we're a pretty like outragey, crazy culture. Even this morning we were walking, quiet Sunday morning in New York, you know, whatever. And we were taking a picture of this mural, and there was this guy who like was standing in the middle of the street at a red light to get a better like photo of the whole mural, and the light turned green, and like before the car had even taken off, before he even started driving, he laid on his horn, honking at this guy in the middle of the street who was walking out of the street, like who was walking to the sidewalk.
It was like he gave him a little warning honk, like, hey, the light is green, honk, honk. And then the guy started walking. Right. But then the
guy got like laid on his horn and sped up. Like, legitimately sped up. And I'm not kidding you. If that guy hadn't hurried out of the way, he would have clipped him.
He would, because the car was speeding up so fast that even if
he didn't have a chance,
even if he would have slammed on his brakes, still would have hit him.
Yeah. And I I was kind of appalled because like, why are you even angry about that?
Right.
You know?
It's like if you would have gone your normal speed,
you would have not even come close
yeah,
to him being in the way.
But instead, you sped up.
Yeah, instead you decided to get angry for literally no reason. There was no reason to be mad that somebody was in your way because nobody would have been in your way. And like, it's just like the outragey.
That's New York traffic in general. We talk about this so much.
I know.
Because everybody is always honking, and I'm just like, what is the most what is your honk gonna do? Like, look in front of you.
Nothing.
Like, there are 18 cars in front of you. You honking, the person 18 cars up isn't gonna be like, oh, they're honking back there. Maybe I should run over the people I'm waiting to walk out and whatever.
I'm
or maybe I should run the red light. Like, no. In the delivery truck that pulls over and you're honking at him is like,
he's delivering something.
He's delivering something. He's not going to be like, oh, right, there is a car behind me honking. I should probably just go deliver this somewhere else. Right. No, he's delivering it like.
But yeah, no, I know. But the point I'm trying to make is not about traffic.
It's not, but it needs to be heard.
What I'm just saying is,
if you're driving right now in New York City listening to this,
quit honking.
Quit honking.
What I'm saying is just that, like, we're letting so many things make us angry for no reason. Mm-hmm. And like, we're letting so many things hold us back and keep us, I guess, like, in a negative place, you know, for what? Nothing. For literally nothing. Right. So like, I don't,
Yes, your visceral response on how I live my life is more a reflection of how you live your life than how I live mine.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
And because the way that you are reacting to me living in a 300 square foot apartment is a very much so a reflection of who you are or the past hurts in your life.
Right. But also, I don't understand how that could affect how me living in a 300 square foot apartment has anything to do with past hurts. Like, I know hurt people and it doesn't make any sense.
It's just because
it's just insane to me that, like,
it can people being hurt can manifest itself in so many different ways because it's just potentially they feel like they have no control in their life, so spewing hate on the internet is the only thing that they can really control, and they feel like they need to basically, I don't know, dismantle like someone else because they can't have the life that they want, or whatever.
But me choosing a 300 square foot house is in no way a reflection on your choices. And like, I mean,
me choosing to not eat meat has nothing to do with you. Like, nothing. It has nothing to do with you. Like, my choice has no reflection on who you are as a meat eater. It has no reflection on where you eat, and has no reflection on what I think about you because you eat meat. I don't really give a care.
Right.
Because I don't not eat meat for you.
Correct.
It's for me.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to be a little bit fair and say that obviously there is the other end of the spectrum too. And like, you know what I mean? There are the vegans who are like a little crazy.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. There are people.
Right. I want to clarify that we're not talking about just the meat eaters. We're also talking about the crazy vegans.
Yeah. The vegans can be crazier than meat eaters. Like there are meat eaters who don't understand people who don't eat meat are just because I feel like the emotion is a lot less because it's more like, oh, I don't really understand how you could not eat meat. Like it's just because of our culture. Like it's more like it comes from a place of not knowing. Mm-hmm. Like it's unfathomable to some people. Right. And so they put hate on others. But then there are on the other side, whenever it comes from self-righteousness or from
self-righteousness. That's the whole word that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, and it also comes from a conviction because there are very few meat eaters that feel convicted about the fact that they eat meat. They just eat it because they like it. But there are very, very much so some very convicted vegans, and they feel like they need to spread that on other people, which it's not about the message itself not being worthy. It is about the way that you spread said message. And anything, this really has nothing to do with, veganism, because Christians do it, Muslims do it, like, any religion. There are people, some people that do it right, some people that are, don't. And same with any other cause.
Yeah.
There is a way to spread your belief in which other people would be happy to listen. And really just to give you the answer, the only way to do that is within love, respect, and honor of another person. And then there's the way that, some like toxic vegans and toxic minimalists and toxic Christians and, everything else.
Toxic feminism.
Right.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, I wanted to clarify that we're not hating on meat eaters by any means. That's all.
I much more hate on toxic vegans than I do on meat eaters.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. It just I just feel like,
and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being vegan. There's just
no, there isn't.
It's wrong with being a self-righteous vegan.
I commend veganism. It's very hard to be vegan, I feel.
But you're vegan for your own beliefs and convictions,
right?
And it is not your place to put your own beliefs and convictions on someone else's life,
right.
Which goes back to exactly what we're talking about, that if your own beliefs and convictions are that you should not listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving, it has nothing to do with you if somebody else chooses to.
Right.
Those are your own beliefs and convictions, and another person's beliefs and convictions lead them to listen to Christmas music before Christmas because it makes them happy.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the outcome of their life either. It's not It's not like, you could take that deeper and say, well, but I believe that, and I was saying that kind of sarcastically, but I mean, in truth, I do believe as a Christian that the things that I know are ultimately truth and ultimately lead everybody to a life of of flourishing.
Right.
And it's like the ultimate, love and, whatever.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is there are certain things like faith that you believe that you hold a truth that at the end of the day is better for everybody. And you would love for them to know that. But there is a wrong and right way to go about that.
Obviously.
And in the same way, I mean, I was basically just wanted to throw it out there that not everything is like a pumpkin spice latte. There are some things that have stronger convictions than, whether or not you listen to Christmas music or eat avocado toast.
Right.
But that doesn't at the end of the day, even though I am a Christian, that's still my own personal beliefs and conviction.
Right.
It's not my job to run out in the street and force my own personal beliefs and conviction on them and or the laws in this country based on my own Christian beliefs, because this is not a Christian nation. It is a nation of all people.
Right.
So just because my Christian belief says that the law should be this way doesn't mean that law should be that way.
Yeah. We're getting into some deep stuff here. I don't know what to say.
Anyways.
Back to being happy. I just think obviously there is a lot more to be said about other people's opinions, and I mean living by other people's opinions and like letting that influence what you do and don't do depending on what makes you happy and doesn't make you happy, but I think generally speaking, I guess maybe more so, I've just been really thinking about how you should just always like ask yourself why you're doing what you're doing and like be honest about the answer. You know what I mean? Like,
it's the power of why, start like,
it's
just knowing your why, knowing why you do something.
Right.
And again, that just goes to self-awareness. Knowing why you do something is being self-aware. And being self-aware is, ultimately healthy.
Yes.
It's the ultimate. Yes. It's the ultimate health.
Here's another example. Actually, a couple months ago, my friend was in town and we were on the subway and I just looked at her and I was like, you know what? I just decided that I like pop music. Like, it's just fun, you know? And she was like, really? Because a couple podcasts ago, you were talking about how much you hated pop music because it's so predictable. Remember we talked about like what makes a song popular? Well, I guess that conversation just really got my mind thinking. And like, I like pop music. It's fun and like good. There's a reason, I guess, that something is like, you know, something's going to be a hit. And obviously there's a lot of different like points of view to that. I still hold my beliefs about how I hate that somebody can predict or that somebody knows what
is going to be a hit,
because that to me isn't necessarily art. So I think like I still hold those beliefs, but at the same time,
you became more self-aware, realized that the reason you don't like pop music is because of your own self-righteousness.
Yeah.
And you know,
and like,
pretentiousness.
I like to dance to some pop music. Yeah. So like, who cares? To myself, not to anybody else, but to myself. Yeah. And I just think like being aware of those things is like really important because, you know, now like I don't really care if I don't care what anybody listens to ever, really. I still have a thing about country music a little bit, but but
you don't, I mean, well,
but I don't care if people listen to country music. I just don't get country music.
Yeah.
I don't get how it can still be like the most popular genre or something. Isn't it?
Is one, yeah.
It's like hip hop and country, right?
As far as top selling, yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That blows my mind. I don't understand that at all. But
it blows my mind.
But I think just, like you were saying, just knowing the why and like being aware and being able to be honest to yourself about yourself is like the most, because you can be self-aware and still not honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. And I think just being able to be honest about like your shortcomings and your faults and like maybe the things that aren't so nice about you, that aren't so positive, is just really important and can change your life. You can enjoy things more,
right?
If you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, I think maybe it goes to that the path to letting yourself enjoy things is letting other people enjoy things.
Yeah, maybe.
And also, just a little, father-son talk here. You know, just dad needs to give you a little pep talk. That just because other people don't you feel like other people are not letting you enjoy the things that you want to.
Right. You're always going to come across those people.
Doesn't mean that you can't.
Yeah.
Like, just because I, as your father, don't enjoy country music doesn't mean that you can't.
Right.
Like, just because your peers or whatever,
or even people you highly respect,
right, don't like something doesn't mean that you can't enjoy something.
It's so true.
And, just find those, if you listen or watch or
there's
look at
a corner
or read,
of the internet for everybody.
Yeah.
That's true.
There is.
Yeah.
And some of y'all be weird.
But it's I think like everything is just, life is too short and everything is already sad enough. So just be happy and let be.
Yeah. I mean, be happy, let be is a good, I was just, while you were saying that, I was just thinking about, how there are things, like eating meat, like different things like that. Mm-hmm. That ultimately, it doesn't affect me personally if you eat meat, but it does affect us globally if you do. And it does affect the animals themselves because of the way that meat is processed in our country.
But that goes back to what I was saying earlier about just because like somebody has bad taste, you can educate them.
Yeah.
And not that eating meat is bad taste, but I just mean like, it's not to say that you shouldn't educate somebody if the opportunity comes around, but again, there's a right and a wrong way to do everything. Right. And I think being self-aware of a situation and like, if you're in a one-on-one conversation Or even on a video, like if you're
Yeah,
sharing
the
on a
reason
video or whatever it is, but if you approach it with respect, people will see that.
Right.
That's not, I think our generation is very much like all we care about is authenticity. And so, and I think we can spot it
Right.
easily. Like I think that we just have a radar for that. And so like people can tell if you're being genuine or not. I truly believe that. And if you're being genuine, they'll understand even if they don't agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I just brought that up just because I felt like the conversation was kind of ending on everybody can do their own thing and everything is right.
Everything
nothing is
you
wrong.
do does affect somebody else in some capacity.
I mean,
Not drinking a pumpkin spice latte.
I guess, I mean, I've listened to podcasts and different things about how everything you eat is politics. Like there's no way that you can, even if it is just toast, it's like that bread, the wheat, the everything, down the line, like somebody grew that and somebody had to use Monsanto seeds or, somebody had pesticides from their neighbors or, organic or whatever it was. Like just every decision you make, whether you think it is or not, affects the world globally. So there are,
but that's more food specific, right?
Yeah, but I mean, purchasing in general.
Well, clothes
the same way. Like you cannot purchase clothing and be fully not responsible for something because there is no ethically way to make clothes unless you grow and make everything yourself. Right. There are some parts of a clothing, like, maybe the cotton is organic in this, but, something else, isn't ultimately the best thing for the world or for the people who made it or whatever.
Like leather, no matter what, isn't great.
It's like picking and choose. It's like picking and choosing what is most important to you. Anyways, that's not the conversation I'm having. Yeah. It's more so that there are every decision ultimately at the end of the day down the line does affect something, and you can use your decisions as a vote towards something. Right. This is getting on a completely different podcast subject. Yes. I didn't want to leave it.
No, I understand.
I just didn't want to leave it with like everybody do anything because anybody doing anything that doesn't affect you is not whatever. Right. But
everything I say has like 50 caveats. Okay. So let's just, I obviously don't think that that's exactly it. Yeah. I do believe that our decisions affect other people very tangibly, even like, where you decide to eat and shop and whatever. It all affects somebody. But, just on the general scale,
let people enjoy things.
Yes. And let yourself enjoy
Unless
things.
They enjoy things that are not legal or, whatever.
Yeah. But then again, you're making your choices are directly affecting other people, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Lots of caveats in this conversation, but you get the gist of it.
Yeah. I was in the joke that I was going to make. I stopped myself because it's not something to joke about. So
good.
Yeah.
Self-awareness. Yeah. See? Yeah. It's important, guys.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, I do think, you should just let yourself be happy. That's it.
Speaking of that though, like just because, again, comedy,
a joke.
Yeah. It's like, just because you don't find the joke funny doesn't inherently mean that the joke is not funny.
Right.
Also, and just because the joke isn't, well, I think we talked about this before, but it just goes to that just because you are offended doesn't make that thing inherently offensive.
Yeah, I do think, yes, I totally agree. This is a good comedy is good for me to talk about because I do enjoy comedy, but I do have like a lot of empathy toward individuals. So like sometimes I cringe at a lot of the comedy because I'm like, oh, but is that something that we should be saying? But I also think maybe it depends on the setting. particular to the joke that you were going to make and then decided not to.
Yeah, I was just going to say, don't let people enjoy child pornography. You know, it's like,
see, I feel like maybe this isn't a good setting for that because...
No, I mean, because, you know, it's just like, let people, you know, enjoy things, you know, unless it's child pornography, then don't, you know. But,
okay. I mean, I agree with you.
Well, you should. We'd have bigger things to talk about if you didn't agree with me.
Anyways, comedy.
Yeah. I was actually we'll end on this.
Yeah.
That I was watching Hot Ones with a comedian that I can't remember his name, but it's the newest episode. Well, it's not maybe not the newest episode when you're listening to this. So anyways, the newest episode as the moment of me saying these words. You know, they were talking about outrage culture and how people dig into the dirt of comedians or whoever and find old things that they said in old bits or whatever. Yeah. And well, one funny part is they were talking about this guy specifically that he was on a TV show way back, and they would, you know, some people found some stuff that him and this other guy said, and like the news article was new unearthed footage of, you know, whoever saying, you know, these things, and he was like, I mean, it's not unearthed. It aired on TV. Like, it already aired. It's not unearthed.
That's the trouble with news, though. Media. It's
yeah.
like sensationalizing every single title.
It's like, it was on TV and thousands of people
You're like,
watched
I willingly
like,
said it in front of...
You're not unearthing anything. But then what I was actually wanting to say is that he went on to talk about how, do we really want our comedians to watch what they say? Like,
right.
Like, do we really want the comedians to be politically correct and to watch the words they say to avoid controversy? Right. And it's like, no,
no, comedy is inherently offensive.
Yeah, to somebody.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's why it's comedy, you know?
Right. There's like very few things that are, you know, objectively funny to everybody and objectively unoffensive to everybody.
Right.
You know, there are unoffensive jokes, but they're not funny. Or, well, they're not funny to some people.
Right.
There are some like very funny, unoffensive jokes. But then again, some people may not find it funny. So it's like...
But the thing comics do really well are point out things that are wrong in... It's kind of the contrast that makes it good. Yeah. You know, the funny with the like, this is terrible kind of thing that makes it. Yeah,
comedians over the years have been the ones that have pointed out hypocrisies.
Yes.
And pointed out things in our culture that we should be having a deeper conversation about than what we are. Right. And because, well, I don't know if it's because of the bias of news, but for some reason, just, you know, news outlets, media and mainstream stuff, for some reason, if they were to talk about it, it just does, a lot of times doesn't have the same impact as a comedian having a bit, you know, about.
Well, it's like, it's the jarring, like, I don't know, like art that is like very like abrupt. Comedy is like abrupt. Like there's something very jarring about it that really like catches you. Right. I think that's the point.
You know, I mean, it's like the whole, what's the Family Guy, Seth,
MacFarlane?
Yes, Seth MacFarlane he did the comedy bit about Harvey Weinstein, bringing attention, you know, to, he said.
I haven't seen that.
The joke was, he was introducing the Oscar nominees for Best Actress, and he named all 4 of 5 of them or whatever it is. And he said, you know, and congratulations, ladies, you have now entered or something. You now no longer have to pretend to like Harvey Weinstein, you know, because now they're big enough, they're Oscar nominees that they don't actually have to
work with him or whatever.
You know, they don't have to be subjected to that, because their careers are not in jeopardy anymore, that type of thing. So like comedy bringing light to, you know, whatever, and that gets into
a lot of things.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna leave that one there. There's a whole conversation there, but you can have that on your own time. So, but then there's also, I think it's Bobcat Goldthwait. No, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he did the whole comedy bit about Bill Cosby and raping people.
Oh.
And it is like attributed to him that like his whole thing about like bringing light to this is what sent into a spiral into the
is why what happened with Bill Cosby happened.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there was the whole comedy bit. What was it, like last year that who was it that did the big abortion bit and called out so much hypocrisy in the abortion debate?
Was it Louis C.K.? He did a thing on abortion, but now that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it was him that you're talking about. I remember he did a bit on it though.
Yeah. Anyways, he you know, I just think the conversation that you know, the comedy brings into culture, it a lot of times can be way more powerful than the conversation that is brought to us from news or from serious outlets or whatever, because they're bringing facts and a lot of times not calling out hypocrisies in the beliefs because, you know, just whatever.
Dave Chappelle is really good at that. He's just like so nonchalant and casual, but like also like, yeah, all of this sucks. Here we go. Let's just smoke another cigarette on stage. Like Dave Chappelle is my favorite at all of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, which I think is why the importance of people like John Oliver and
I love John Oliver.
You know, things like that is because really just it takes the comedians to point out the hypocrisy, and we shouldn't. So what we started this conversation with, because of that, we should not ask our comedians or anybody really to hold their tongue, to watch their words, you know, to whatever, because I don't know, this outrage culture.
It sucks. It really is like the most difficult thing to, well, for one, talk about, and also navigate and like because there's just so much going on in it.
So we'll leave it with this. Just let people enjoy things. Also, let people change. Just because they said something in the past doesn't mean that they hold those beliefs
or
now.
that they love PSLs now.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly. Just because
they love Starbucks coffee now doesn't mean they can't learn to love your third wave.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. It's like, let people enjoy things, allow people to change.
And let yourself be happy.
Let yourself be happy. You is smart. You is kind. You is important. We'll see you next week.
Bye.